welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Philippa and this is my channel where I talk about all things knitting, yarn, all that kind of good stuff. This is Kipling. He's hopefully going to sit down or continue to stare at the door. I hope you're well. I've had quite a few new people join us here and subscribe since my podcast last week, which has been lovely. I had a few mentions on some other podcasts, which was really lovely. So hello if you found me from Rachel from This Knitty Life, Joe from Hooked and Happy podcast, and the lovely Naomi from the Apocalyptic Knitter. Hello. All gave me a shout out on their podcast, and various people also shared on their Instagram, which was really kind. So yeah, welcome and thank you. Right, what are we doing today? Are you going to sit down? You going to get down? So, what am I going to be doing today? As you may be able to see behind me, there is a big old pile of yarn, and well, I'm kind of throwing it back to the first video I ever did, which was nearly a year ago, last September. I'll link it if I remember and can remember how, up here, where I had real good fortune in terms of yarn finds in a charity shop when I was on holiday last year. It was the same town, different charity shop. Somebody's obviously been having a really big old D-stash. So I picked up a few of the things, fairly commercial yarn, but fairly, I would say, high-end commercial yarn. Things I have not worked with before and have wanted to, and maybe some things that are a bit more challenging. And I've got a few ideas of what I want to make with them potentially, but very much open to ideas on what you think. So if you want to grab a cuppa, grab your knitting, and let's have a look. Okay, I've moved them so Kip can go where he feels is best. Okay, I have my notes to the side, so apologies if I am glancing off. Okay, let's start. Cascade yarns, 220 Superwash sport base in this really lovely chocolate brown. It is the colour number 292, and I'm only going to hold up one of each because they're in rustly bags and nobody needs that. Okay, yeah, so sport weight, I have 8 skeins of this. They're 50 grams each, so I have about 1,000 meters. This was £4.50 for the bag. All bagged up, all the same dye lot, which is just perfect. I don't really know if I've worked with a sport weight before, especially, but it does seem fairly. I think I could probably make it work for a DK pattern. Obviously, swatch. Yeah, so it's this really lovely chocolate brown. I haven't really knit with anything brown before. I think it would work. The comparison between my two projects, blankets behind me. Yeah, so I have a decent amount. I believe I could make a jumper, a vest, a cardigan, probably a jumper. As I said, I have a few ideas which I'm going to talk to you about, but if you have any ideas, have you worked with this yarn before? I have used some of their DK weight in the same base and it was really lovely. I made a hat, one of my first projects, I believe. So yes, my thoughts. I have, well, it's here. Right, Kip has left us, so I've moved up onto the sofa. So, where was I? The Mondial Crilly. This has been in my stash after I got it in a mystery bag I think from the Knitter's Attic in Suffolk last year. 3 balls of this. It's also a sport weight. So, thinking these two could work together pretty well. Something stripy. Do love the stripes. I've already made the Farnham tee a couple of times. I was wearing, No, I wasn't wearing one in the last podcast, but I've worn them on a few. They are a DK pattern. And Maiden Drops Bells are more of a summer knit, but I was thinking it might be quite nice to have a autumn winter version in something a bit warmer. I really love the construction. The shoulder construction is really lovely. I believe Jo over at Hooked and Happy is also making one at the moment for the summer. So yeah, there is a Farnham sweater pattern, really similar. It has a different neckline. I believe it's almost more like a funnel neck, which isn't really my thing. It looks really nice, but I just know I'd not like it. So I'm thinking I could adapt the pattern that I've got to be a longer sleeve, maybe. That might be quite nice. I thought these look pretty good. I believe I'd have enough for that, but I'd have to do some swatching because, as I say, this is a sport weight and it's a DK pattern, but I think I can make it work. My other thought, well, staying with stripes, Andrea Mowry has just released the Flock sweater, I believe it's called, also a stripy. And there is a Flock vest, I believe. Maybe it's called the Flock pullover, actually. So like a little vest with buttons, which I've not done before. I haven't knitted any cardigans or vests with a that haven't just been like a sleeveless, like a vest. So that's also another option. So yeah, that was one of my thoughts for that one. And then you may have seen a couple of podcasts ago, I picked up this Rico Make It Tweed, which I was thinking could potentially be really nice, held with that to make a tweed base with the flex. This is 445 meters for 50 grams, so I would probably need to buy another one of these depending on what I was making, but maybe like a vest or a jumper with that could be really nice, like just like a basic raglan or something. I was going to say the Lento maybe, but that is fingering weight, isn't it? I think Emma from Yarn and Glitter has made the adult Playdate tee, I believe it's called, which is a short sleeve DK top, which is really nice. So that could potentially be a nice choice. But yeah, quite a few options. Yeah, what do you think? Do you have any ideas for what I can make with it? I really like the chocolate brown. It's not a colour I would necessarily have reached for generally, but I think it could be really nice, especially held with something else for a pop of more colour or something. But yeah, so that was my first one. Yeah, so 8 skeins of the Cascade 220 Sport for £4.50. I will put on the screen how much they are normally full price, because I believe you can still get them. So yeah, that was my first one. Bargain. We finally had some rain, which is great, but it's so humid today, so we have the joy of watching my hair get steadily bigger as the recording goes on. Next up, this I'm really excited about, and I feel like it would be quite a bit of a challenge for me. It is some Camarose Snefnug, which is a blown yarn, and it's super pricey from what I can tell. I believe it's like £8 something a ball, maybe. I got 7 balls. They're 50 grams. So that is about 770 meters. It is a 55% alpaca, 35% cotton, and 10% merino, I think. I'll double check if I'm wrong. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, so say 7 balls. One in burnt orange, and then there was one single in rust red, which is also really lovely. And I think I can make that work. I can incorporate that somehow, couldn't I? So yeah, it is a blown yarn. I've never worked with a blown yarn before. I don't believe I have worked with anything thicker than a DK. So yeah, this is considered bulky, but I was thinking it could be quite a nice way of trying something bulkier out, because although it's bulky, because it's blown yarn, it feels quite light and airy. I'm thinking, because it would be on a bigger needle, I also don't think I've ever worked with anything bigger than a 5mm needle, particularly on a garment. And I have quite a loose gauge, I'm quite a loose knitter, so I often have to size down a needle size or so. So maybe this will be a good time to give it a try. As I say, got 770 meters. As I'm not used to knitting with this weight of yarn, I think keeping it simple for the pattern would be a good idea. So maybe a raglan sweater. I have looked at this one by the Knit Pearl Girl. I can't remember the name, but it looks quite nice. And the Knit Pearl Girl also did the Farnham Tea design, and I really enjoyed her patterns. I've also the rolled raglan that has just been released. That looks really nice. I don't know about you, but she says wearing a really oversized shirt. With jumpers and things, I do not like loads of positive ease. I don't like them to be super tight, but the idea of having something so oversized and covering my hands, just no. They look really good on other people. I have a friend who loves the oversized, she loves it, and it looks great on her. I just can't cope with it. I don't know whether it's in part because I wear a lot of dungarees, especially in the winter and autumn winter, so loads of fabric just doesn't really work. So a lot of these, even the smaller size, is so much ease, which I could play around with. I know I could decrease, I could make the smallest, I make the smallest size usually for those anyway. So yeah, I was also thinking maybe a cardigan. I really wanted to try the Midland cardigan by Laura Penrose, but I think that's a DK or a worsted pattern. Aaron weight maybe. And I'm not sure if I'd have enough, but I could swatch, couldn't I? And I could see what fabric I got. But yeah, I just thought to give it a go. It's a really lovely colour. Nice for the autumn, winter maybe. Yeah. So yeah, £4.50 for 7 balls of this, which was, I think we can all agree, a bargain of the century. Yeah. So yeah, that's the Camarose Snefnug. What do you think? Have you knit with this yarn? I know it's quite popular. And I know a lot of people like the bulkier weight yarn. Rachel and Emma are inspiring me, I think, with their bulky weight projects. They look so good. and quick to knit, aren't they? So maybe I should give it a go. Says me also working on a 2.75mm 4-ply tee at the moment in 3x1 rib. It's a time. But yeah, if you have any ideas for patterns that you've used for this, or any ideas of what I could make, then please do let me know. Next up, we have Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift. I do have it in, I have another 4 bottles that are all different colours. So I'll do a cutaway of to show you all of them because I can't hold them all up at once. But yeah, it is 100% pure Shetland wool. Feels really, smells really nice and woolly. I believe it's a 4-ply. They are 25-gram balls with about 105 meters per thing. So yeah, 4-ply. So I have, yeah, 6 balls. It'd be about 630 meters, I believe, would be how much I have. Not enough for a jumper, obviously, or anything in itself, but potentially some colour work on a jumper. Maybe a cowl. I did have a thought of, if you saw my last podcast, you will have seen that I have been designing and knitting some samples of a sock pattern that I have come up with. And I did wonder whether there's potential for a cowl in the same pattern. So these could be fun. But yeah, it's quite rustic though. So we shall see. What would you do with these sorts of things? Have you worked with them? Do they soften up much with the blocking and things? Really pretty though. And a good excuse to try some. So 6 balls of this was £2.50. Yeah. Any thoughts greatly appreciated. Okay, arguably these are the biggest find, but they're also the one that I'm least sure on, confident on whether I will use or enjoy working with. So yeah, I feel like it's quite divisive. So, sorry for the rustling, they are still packaged. So I have 5 plates of the Lopi Plötulopi, which is an unspun yarn. I have 5 of these, they're 100 grams, which puts it at 1500 meters. One of them is open. I have 5. One of them is open. So I'll hold this one up now. I've shown you the details. It is really soft and airy. I don't know if you know, but you can see it. Just, you can basically pull it apart. I'm not going to do too much on that one. I've been looking up about how to knit with it. It smells so nice. Concentrate. As I say, I feel like it can be quite divisive, a bit marmitey. You either love it or you hate it. It would definitely need to be, well, it'd be super warm. I'd probably go for a vest or something, but I am umming and ahhing over whether to pass this on. As I say, this one was already open. It's a full plate, but just opened, so I could potentially have a go. But I'm wondering whether somebody else had the same thought as me and went, not for me, after giving it a go. But, you know, I believe it is a worsted weight. 300 meters for 100 grams. So yeah, maybe worsted Aran. So I have already made the vest number 1 by my favourite things knitwear. So I have that pattern, so I could potentially give that a go, but I think I'd know pretty quickly doing a swatch with this. It's a beautiful grey. It is the colour 9102. It is really lovely. But yeah, I know nothing about knitting with it apart from that it can be quite tricky. But yeah, have you worked with it? I know a lot of people use Lopi as well. I just, Dan from the bakery, Dan, lovely Dan, from the Bakery Bears podcast, loving knitting with it. But yeah, what do you think? Would you give it a go? Do you have a pattern that you would recommend for it? Do I try a hat, something like that? Or would that be too scratchy? Would I be better off going for like a slip over or something? I didn't say 5 plates, £4.50, which I feel like Rachel from This Knitty Life was saying the other day about when people list skeins of yarn and things on Vinted for a de-stash, and they're so cheap, and sort of feeling bad that they're listing them for that price. But then, because you know how much they would normally be, but then it's balancing that thing of if you just want it gone and you want some money for it, you know, it's fine. But that's what the shop was asking for it, so I thought I'd give it a good home. And if not, I can pass it on to somebody who would be able to do something beautiful with it. So yeah, that is the Plötulopi. Yeah, thoughts very much here for the thoughts. I have one more thing left, which was actually included in my first charity shop bargain haul, but I have a lot of it left, so 2 seconds and I'll get it out so I'm not rustling. Okay, I'm back. This is the Scheepjes. I've still not got better at this. It's the Undyed Pure Fingering Weight Naked series. So Undyed, I got, I believe it was six skeins of this last year for £1 each. And I thought I'd be using all of it for the Moby slipover, which I showed in my last podcast that I just finished, which I held with some Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I didn't even use 2 full skeins. So I believe I have 400 grams, well, I have 4 skeins of it left. There are 400 meters per skein, so I have 1600 meters. I say it's undyed, and last year I was considering dyeing it, and then I went for holding it with the Kid Silk Haze for the Moby slipover. So do I give it a go dyeing it? I like the idea of a fingering weight wool jumper for under dungarees and things. I have the King Salmon Light pattern in my library on Ravelry, which could be a potential. I'd need to check how much I need for the size I would be making for that, but I could potentially leave one undyed or use something else for the colour work. And then I don't know, maybe I was thinking maybe like a rusty burgundy colour, but then the Camarose is, I mean, very different yarns. But yeah, what would look nice? Maybe a green. Whether I could get it evenly dyed is, but you know, that would add to its rustic charm, right? There are options. So yeah, I don't think I would really want a undyed colour jumper. I just clumsy. So yeah, what do you think? Should I give it a try? Yeah, so many options. There's also no huge rush, is there? I can, as you can see, I have plenty to be getting on with. But yeah, I guess I could hold this with the Make It Tweed, but again, it would still be pretty light, and I'm really pleased with my Moby slip over, but I don't know if I would get as much use out of a light coloured jumper compared to a slip over vest type thing. So yeah, I have 1600 meters of that one, fingering weight. You know what an undyed skein of yarn looks like. I'm just holding it in your face. So yeah, lots of thoughts, lots of options. I would very much like your ideas as well. Should I dye this? Should I knit it as it is? That's the other thing. Do I knit? I guess if I was doing a colour work, less easy to I was going to say I could dye it afterwards, but obviously with colour work that would be trickier. I guess I could make a lento with this. They would be nice. I've never made a colour work garment. I have socks yet, but not a garment. So yeah, I think we can all agree that that was some pretty good finds. Bargains, and like I said, I think a lot of options for trying out things I haven't tried before, like the blown yarn, which will be working on chunkier needles, potentially using the Plötulopi. I am very much on the fence about that. I know that somebody would love a bargain on that who loves that yarn, so do I pass on the joy and the bargains to others and stick with the Camarose? Oh yeah, with this one I've also got a partial skein left, which so there is potentially more, but I think I'm going to use that to hold with the Mamie and Florrie Swizzels Factory floof. I'll put a cutaway as well of that one. I showed it in the last podcast. I think I'm going to hold that, what's left of that, with that to make a floofy muscle bra for the winter. That'll be super warm and cozy. But yeah, potential for more to add to this. But I think 1600 meters would be good. But anyway, I'm waffling now. Yeah, let me know your thoughts below. If you think any of those are good ideas, if you have other ideas, I would love to know. If you'd like to like this video, subscribe, that would be lovely. You can find me over on Instagram as One Knitter and Her Dog also, and I am on Ravelry as One Knitter and Her Dog as well, but I think it's a number one rather than the word one, but I'll put it on screen. Yeah, I will be back soon, probably with another podcast. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.